So what we are saying is that everything is responding and interacting with everything else in a kind of computational environment which is brought to us through the animation industry. Kind of action by distance allows us to really become creators of a new universe. We also are lucky to have our first major building here in London at the Olympic site, the Aquatic Centre. The way we designed it, we have the roof and we have the landscape, the dish, the pool, the audience below as a continuous landscape later on. In general, the medium within which design is kind of created is of extreme importance. And one thing, as we mentioned, that Zaha is a kind of an amazing innovator, you being inspired by the medium to then radically shift the product. Corners get in the way, they kind of, too many intersections with corners create a kind of pollute the visual field. And if you kind of make transitions smooth, you can kind of guide the eye through, you can kind of make things comprehensible, legible. So we have the kind of fluidity, cornerless architecture that was basically made possible by Maya for us to really bring that on and fully switch to the digital domain. Architecture is always going to be hundreds and thousands of parts of different materials, different constitution, different ontology, if you like, and they need to be coordinated, they need to come together. You can only solve this through scripting logics. It's the kind of beauty of organic life, where a lot of forces interact, lawfully interact, but there's always the lawfulness, and that's what we get from Maya. You cannot compete at the contemporary stage of architecture if you're not fully geared up with these tools.
As design-focused architects, it's primarily Maya, which is used to develop conceptual design. And then when it comes to the implementation, it's primarily AutoCAD. Looking at Revit, most of the people are struck by it displaying the entire workflow you would expect as an architect to cover, and it's very architecture-centric. I think people in our office use Maya primarily as a tool for conceptual sculpting. And on top of these very intuitive interactions between architect and sculpture, Maya allows to create a layer of parametric knowledge, allowing to create complexity. It has a very, very wide range of options to simulate reality. We recognize the benefits of having a customizable tool with an open interface. So now we really want to explore these opportunities further. The Abu Dhabi Performing Arts Center is a project where we use Maya to develop a very sculptural and iconic piece of architecture that was originally based on the idea of developing a growing and branching structure. So I believe that we were able to use that tool in this case to create something that is not only a sculpture being the direct result of an interaction with a virtual clay, but we are able to inform this geometry with the underlying process to really express that it comes from a systematic translation of a concept into a first mathematical model and then a three-dimensional sculpture. Looking at what we do, I think we need a tool like Maya to do it, and if you want to take architecture to a level that is as sculptural and as depending on the interaction with a 3D model as ours, I think it is key to have such a tool.
It's a medium, so it's not a tool for us. It's like playing with Maya gives you ideas. It's a kind of like kitchen of architecture, like people from all kinds of backgrounds work here. My favorite project is the Upper Master Plan in India. It is a culmination of various ideas and small little studies that we had done under the topic of urbanism. Maya was core to understanding this process because we used everything from the API to understand the fluid algorithm, because the numbers coming from this algorithm was used to drive a lot of the parameters that would generate the urban mass. Scripting technologies of dividing a given plot into smaller plots, or open spaces, organizing pedestrian network, shortest distance. All these were kind of studied previously as separate studies, and then they came together in this one project.
From the first moment when I started using Maya, the thing that I noticed about it was that it was really a computer program designed by designers. Your interface is such that you're just right there. It's almost like playing with clay in your fingers. Everything can be customized. Everything is tailored to you as a user, actually. That's something that, as a designer, is very, very important. The S.C. Johnson project, which was a competition that we did, we used Maya to do almost all of the concepts for it, from using simple subdivision surfaces to approximate these kind of fluid forms of the shell, down to much more conceptual animations. The most important thing is getting the intention across, and I think having a powerful tool that can visualize this kind of very, very clear concepts is critical for architects, and that's one thing where Maya made a really big difference, I think. Image is becoming increasingly important in architecture. As technology has improved, architects' roles have also changed, and especially when you're working at the top end of the architecture profession, that's what the future of architecture really is in my mind. I think people need to be able to communicate strong visual ideas.